Hey, thanks for joining Junction City today. I'm your host, Craig Bealey, just like the words say right here. And I'm joined by a guy I've known for a long time, actually, or a little while, Bret Field. Bret?
Actually, since high school.
Since high school, yeah. That's been like, what, 4 years?
No, don't go there.
This is like four or 5 years. It's been 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
And we'd love to do a show just about high school. That'd be fun enough, wouldn't it?
We already had that.
Yeah. America's funniest.
Most wanted.
Yeah, exactly. America's most wanted. We could
I think
do that.
Vibey's still looking for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Is he still around?
I don't know.
He's probably still looking for me, too. Remember the fear that would strike when you'd see him come looking for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's right. Well, we're not here to talk about high school.
Anyway, that was the principal and the vice principal.
Brad just happens to be a behavioral tech at Ogden Regional Medical Center with their alcohol and chemical treatment program, right? Am I getting all that right?
That's correct, yes.
You're getting all that right. And I know what you're doing out there right now on TV. You're going, what's a behavioral tech, right?
I would imagine.
Right, and that's why we brought you here to explain it.
Absolutely. Well, I think the best way to describe it is I like to call myself a teacher. I think we're all teachers.
Wait a second, I thought we were just talking about teachers we were running from.
We were. And I found out that in my history of where I came from, I can either teach somebody in a positive way or a negative way.
Right.
And so I've chose to kind of change where I was headed. And so what I do is up to Ogden Regional is I take the patients and do education with them. Mm-hmm. And the education stems anywhere from a cognitive base to working the 12-step programs to coping skills to exactly even how an addict's brain functions different than, if I may say, if there is such a thing, a normal individual.
A normal person. I've never met a normal person.
I haven't either.
I'm sure if you're a normal person, please write to the station so that we can have you on the show.
But there is a difference.
Right.
And there is a difference, the reason because we have an allergy to whatever it is we use, and then we have a phenomenon of craving that once that kicks in, that isn't stoppable.
Right.
So I try to explain that to them and the family, so it's a little bit more understandable of why it looks like just bad behavior.
Right, and that's kind of a more modern approach to how things are going. I mean, sadly, right now we have a lot of people in the community addicted to substances. We probably always have had, but substances are different now too, and there's things out there that didn't exist 20 years ago or 25 years ago, right? And so the thinking is starting to change a little bit, that this is not a person who's being a jerk. This is a person who, although they can act like a jerk,
absolutely,
right? But this is a person that has a disease. This is a person addicted.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you're working on that. You actually work with the addicted person.
Uh-huh.
And you help them recognize jerky behavior, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a behavioral change that we have to go through the change process.
Right.
And they have to get to that point to where they didn't think they had a problem to where they start to come to terms with, yes, they do. And, they'll get a lot of people that come in there and say, I'm here on my own accord. Uh-huh. And I love to listen to them and hear them say that. But basically, they've just had enough bad experiences that now that's ready to change.
Right. It's added up and it's weighing them down. They can't go any further.
They're tired of consequences.
Yeah, I'm here on my own accord. The judge sent me.
Absolutely.
Well, 4 judges sent me, but I'm still here on my own accord, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, and here's the other thing: is this can happen to anybody?
No,
right?
it can't. There's a difference between the substances that we may get addicted to, but there's still something that's a little bit different than. Thank goodness we have a grandma that goes in and get a hip replacement.
Right.
Thank goodness she doesn't come out and she's a heroin addict.
Right.
Okay? Right. So not everybody that takes a substance is going to come out a heroin addict.
Right. No, you're making a good point there too. But my point was, there really isn't any shame in it. And if you're out there watching TV and you're like going, boy, that couldn't happen to me, and it certainly couldn't happen to anybody in my family because we're good folk. Back up a bit because it could.
Absolutely could.
Right. So everybody struggles a little personal, Brett, But what are the common things that people are struggling with when they come to see you? I mean, besides their
Shame.
obvious addiction.
Shame.
Really?
Big, yeah. Shame is probably one of the largest part of the disease. It's such a shame-based disease. You have the addict that's going against all of these morals that they have, and the only way to deal with it is to reuse, because they keep every day breaking these morals.
Right.
And they know that. And so the shame just keeps building up and building up inside. And so they live deeper and deeper in the addiction.
Right. And they do things that they don't want to, that they're not proud of. You know,
No,
they
they wouldn't
stole
do it
money out of mom's
sober.
purse. And, right.
Yeah, they wouldn't do these things.
Oh, man. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't thought about that. So so you're teaching them, you're re-educating them and saying, hey, guys, you got to start thinking in a new way.
Uh-huh.
Right? And you got to start behaving in a new way. Mm-hmm. And what if somebody says, well, you know, I hate to say this, Bret, but I like my addicted life.
Hey, there's nobody, I'm going to have to say this because
Yeah.
you brought it up, there's nobody that loves to get loaded more than I do. I just don't love where it takes me.
Right.
So that's what you formulate, is you get them to really get an understanding of, yes, that's normal.
Right.
We understand that. And there's going to be times that you might not want to be clean. So we have to get those coping skills to figure out how you're going to work through those days or moments,
Right.
so you don't pick up. Because this is a long-lasting recovery. This just doesn't, you just don't go in and do a 28-day spin cycle, or whatever you want to call
Right.
it, and get better.
Right.
This is a lifelong process.
Well, before we go any further, I want to put a website up on the screen right here. This is Ogden Regional. You know that hospital out there in Washington Terrace. I work there, you know. And Bret works there also. If you or someone in your life is suffering from addiction, or maybe you're just starting to question whether you're suffering from addiction, go to this website, go to the service section, look up addiction treatment. Intake analysis is always free. Okay?
Absolutely.
People are
Absolutely.
welcome to come in. Maybe you don't have a problem. Maybe you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You know, but if you do, then there's resources to talk with you, decide your course of treatment, and you might end up seeing Bret, who's a great guy.
And I'd like to invite everybody on Wednesday night at 5:30. It's we call it FACE.
Okay.
It's Family Alcohol Chemical Education.
Uh-huh.
And we have goodies there. We have coffee. We have treats, and you can learn about education, the disease, and it goes. It's a couple hours.
Right.
Long, and the families are welcome, and it's open to the public.
And it's open to so like basically the whole family. Like,
Yes. Uh-huh.
Like if it's your grandson, you can go, right?
Yeah, and if he
it's-
doesn't want to go,
Yeah.
you can go and learn.
Oh, that's a good point. That's
Okay.
a really good point. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because, you know, quite often the person, well, always the person connected to you is suffering pretty much as much as you.
This is a family disease.
Right.
It doesn't just affect one. It affects everybody.
So you can go by yourself
Uh-huh.
and learn how to cope with someone in your life. that's going through
Absolutely,
addiction.
until they're either ready or
Wow.
whatever that means.
Wow. You like what you do, Bret?
I love it.
I know you do.
I do.
I know. I can tell. I mean, I can tell. I interview a
I'm
lot
very
of people.
passionate about it.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure. Right. So if you were to give somebody a guidance, and there's people out there watching right now, and they're saying, you know, I've got, you know, Dave Jr. in my life or something like that, and I don't know, maybe he needs help. What are 2 or 3 things that someone should look for in someone that definitely needs help?
Well, you can't help anybody that doesn't want it.
Right.
That's really the bottom
yeah.
line. So, you know, you talk about it, you're open about it, and, you know, there's the one thing, I'm a firm believer that I got loved into my disease, and sometimes I think it needs a stern fist to say, maybe, just maybe, this is the way I'm thinking if you don't want to be part of our life. But, yeah, I think you need to have a really open conversation of what it looks like and the effects that it's having on everybody. And hopefully they'll want to take a look at it. And then they come in and do an assessment, and maybe we can take a look at it, and maybe we can say, hey, why don't you give it a shot for 30 days?
Right.
See if your life turns around.
Right.
See if you don't have anything negative happen in the next 30 days type thing.
Wow. It's a struggle. It's tough. It's hard, but there is hope.
There is hope.
Yep, I ran into
I hate the old thing, once an addict, always an addict.
Yeah?
How about just once an addict, not always an addict in behavior?
There you go. There you go. You should make bumper stickers. Brett, that's a new job for you. So,
Yeah.
we're going to have Brett back on the show, and him and I are going to talk high school days and all that kind of stuff. And we're
I'd
also going
love
to talk
to.
about developing my muscles. I mean, put your arm up there, Brett. I mean, I don't. Oh, come on. No. Oh, no, folks. Oh, man, that's going to take a lifetime. Bret Field with Ogden Regional's Alcohol and Chemical Treatment Center. Thank you for being on the show
Thank
with me
you.
today.
I appreciate
Nothing
being
else.
here.
It's just great to talk to you.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
always is.
And I am going to work on my muscles. I know you folks are very concerned about me out there, and I will work on my
We'll
muscles.
meet you in the gym.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow. And as usual, you've tuned in to Junction City Today, part of Ogden's part of Ogden. I can't even think of what to say. It's part of Ogden. Junction City Today. Your host Craig Bielik with my guest Bret Field, and we'd love to see you watching on the show again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
So.